Welcome to the third video lecture on action research. In the second video, we discussed the first part of the action research proposal, the context, and the rationale of the action research. We identified the problem as indicated in the data that prompted the teacher to conduct an action research through an intervention. Remember that in the context and rationale, you are explaining or highlighting the factors that led to the problem and the purpose of doing the research. What is the general situation that makes you develop your research proposal? What are you trying to accomplish? And how will this action research accomplish your aims? Before we start, let's have a guessing game. Just like in the classroom, we give our students a game before we present our lesson. I will show pictures and you have to give the correct word that describes the pictures. I'll give you 10 seconds to think of your answer. Are you ready? Let's have the first set of pictures. You're correct. The answer is question. Now I will show you the second set of pictures. Right, the correct answer is strategy. In this third video, we will talk about the second and the third parts of the action research proposal, the action research questions, and proposed innovation, intervention, and strategy following the format of the Department of Education. This would help you formulate relevant and researchable problem and related research questions and identify an intervention that could solve your problem. What do you want to investigate in your action research? Meaningful questions such as, what happens to student learning in my classroom when I use graphic organizers in social studies or differentiated learning activities in science? What happens to the quality of student writing when we implement peer editing in a 7th grade English class? How can I use cooperative learning in my high school math class to improve student learning? What happens to student learning in my classroom when I use a project-centered approach to teaching the geography? Questions like these focus on student learning, improving the curriculum, and the teaching strategy and technique. A good research question leads to an action, an intervention, a strategy, or innovation to help improve a teaching or learning situation that can make a difference in the lives of students. Since action research is qualitative in nature, research questions beginning with what, why, or how are usually used to get at explanations and reasons. Let me give you an example of my action research proposal. The action research looks into the effectiveness of twin text teaching on the reading comprehension in noting details of informational text and the reading engagement of grade 6 pupils in one public elementary school in the Schools Division Office, Makati City. Specifically, this study seeks to answer the following research questions. 1. How does twin text teaching affect reading comprehension of 6th grade pupils in terms of noting the details of informational text? 2. How does twin text teaching improve pupil engagement in reading informational text? Remember, a research question should clearly relate to the identified problem and convey the desired change or improvement. Two teacher researchers from the Tibagan High School Division of Makati City will share the research questions in their action research. Sir Eman conducted an action research in science, while Ma'am Darish made an action research in English. Let's watch this.
My colleague and I authored an action research paper with the title, The Effect of Using Storytelling in Teaching the Concepts of Electricity in Improving Student Learning in Science of the Grade 7 students in the Tibagan High School. The main focus of this paper was to know whether teaching a science concept through our intervention, storytelling, was effective in improving the academic performance of our students in science. Hence, our research question, what is the effect of using storytelling in teaching the concepts of electricity in improving student learning in science of the grade 7 students in the Tibagan High School?
In 2017, Sir Alexander H. Scott and I conducted an action research that was entitled The Effect of Teaching Grammar in the Context of Writing in Improving the Composition Writing Skills of Grade 10 Students in the Tibagan High School. The participants could not use transition signals appropriately in writing coherent sentences and paragraphs. We use an intervention by teaching transition signals in the context of writing persuasive essays. Our research question was, what is the effect of teaching grammar in the context of writing in improving the composition writing skills of grade 10 students in the Tibagan High School?
Some students find math difficult because it is abstract, but in the math class of Mr. Leonidas Pilar, a 6th grade math teacher in Palanan Elementary School, Makati City, he makes sure that his students learn theoretical probability and experimental probability using the CPA approach or the concrete pictorial abstract approach. It is highly effective approach to teaching that develops understanding of math lesson by introducing abstract concepts in a concrete and tangible way. Let me now introduce our fellow public school teachers who made some innovations and interventions and implemented research-based strategies in their classroom. Let's begin with the interventions made by the math teachers. Dr. George Bormeyer from the Schools Division Office, Manila, is the 2018 Basic Education Research Fund grantee. Mr. Kinsan Sanchez from the Schools Division Office, Taguig City and Pateros, and Ma'am Joymi Bugay from the Division of Pasig City.
I identify high-performing students or learners, and I also identify low-performing learners. And using the principle of peer tutoring, I have this intervention program to address this problem, and I call it the X plus Y project. So the high-performing individual or learner is partnered to a low-performing individual. And in the Division of Manila, we have these problem-solving maps. So we design an activity sheet or activity sheets for these learners.
One of the best practices or intervention that I have done in my class at Cat Andres Bonifacio High School in Taguig City was cover, copy, and compare strategy. This strategy is a self-managed intervention to help students to increase their math facts fluency. In my every discussion, students are presented with problems and solutions in a sheet of paper. The students then cover the solution and solve the problems by his own. After he is finished solving, he uncovers the solution and compares it. With this, students will analyze the problem and solution by his own and learn independently, which improves his learning.
Algebra tiles are manipulatives in the form of colored square and rectangle tiles, which serves as a concrete representations of abstract concepts in algebra lessons, like performing operations on polynomials, a lesson which I usually use this intervention. Since mathematics is indeed abstract in nature, there is a need to concretize the concepts first before proceeding in teaching the abstract concepts. And this is where algebra tiles are best off.
Thank you, math teachers. Then we have the intervention in English by Ma'am Myla Kamaya from the Division of Caloocan City. She was granted the Basic Education Research Fund, a grant provided by DepEd to support education research. We have two science teachers, both Ma'am Jeanette Pioquinto from Schools Division Office, Makati City, and Ma'am Alfie Badilla from the Schools Division Office, Pasig City, will share their interventions that improve the performance of students in science. In kindergarten, we have Mr. Michael Bautista from Rojas West District, Division of Isabela, to share his teaching strategies. In senior high school, we have Sir Reggie Carlo Riomosio from the Division of Oriental Mindoro, will share his strategies in class.
As school reading coordinator, I made an action research proposal about my reading intervention, Tutok Basa. Parental involvement was greatly emphasized. Recognizing the significance of parent as a teacher was needed. Parents-assisted reading time were strictly monitored. I gave my own teacher-made reading materials, worksheets to my pupils every Friday. I strictly monitored the parents in conducting the parental reading activities by fixing their signatures in the worksheets and served as an evidence of teaching their children. Then, every Monday, I let my pupils read the materials one by one while doing some enrichment activities.
Grade 3 science teacher of Rizal Elementary
School Division of Makati, I developed a kit that all the type of learners will benefit this kind of material. This is called the Strategic Intervention Material, or commonly known as SIM. It enabled the learners increase and deepen their skills, knowledge, and understanding from concrete to abstract concepts in science. Again, it is an add-on material which enable the learners work independently that will enhance learning and remedy the least mastered skills of the learners.
We use the interventions such as module. The problem solving is actually given in Tagalog such that students will understand better and express these answers in Tagalog. Formula is also expressed in such a way that students identify but are given the unknown as well as the solution of the problem. It is very important that Tagalog and English should be used simultaneously in teaching students, especially in problem solving.
Aside from using tar papel in my daily teaching and discussing my lessons, I also use audiovisual like PowerPoint presentation, videos, music, interactive games using blocks, big books, real objects, and field trips. I also use differentiated activities during their work period, like individual and group activities.
I'm at my first year of teaching as an Instructor 1 at Mindoro State College of Agriculture and Technology, Bungabon Campus from the province of Oriental Mindoro.
As a young professional, I always see to it that the students will always be able to know why do they need to learn a particular lesson. In my media and information literacy class, I always let my students use authentic materials in learning, like investigating on different examples of media and how do these real-life examples affect our day-to-day lives. An end goal on information literacy was for them to be able to share information to the public. As an application of this, we came up with an information literacy campaign where students were grouped into 3 and they devised their own campaigns promoting information literacy.
Finally, we have the 2019 Dangalang Bayan Awardee conferred by the Civil Service Commission, Ma'am Michelle Rubio, who will share an inspiring story on how she promotes a literacy program in her school in the division of Sorsogon.
Hi everyone. This is Teacher Michelle, a reading innovator. I created a resort for learning intended for the slow and then readers at Calao Elementary School. You will see different reading level in this area. The school children at Calao Elementary School really love this place because this is the place where they develop the heart for reading or the love for reading. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Michelle. We love hearing the positive effects of your reading intervention program to your students in Sorsogon. We also thank our fellow public school teachers for sharing their interventions, strategies, and innovations that help improve student learning. Let me now show you a sample proposed innovation and intervention. For the next video, we'll be talking about the action research methods and the work plan, cost estimates, and plans for dissemination and utilization. Please keep on subscribing on my YouTube channel.